What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jay White. Listen, today I want to talk to you about the word imagination. Now, I know you may not hear that word in your church services, or you may not hear your Christian friends say the word imagination. I was asked these questions about should Christians or should believers or kingdom people be using the word imagination. And a lot of times when we hear this word imagination, we have certain negative thoughts or things that we may have heard from other people say about the word imagination. But I want us to really understand that imagination, other words we've always used in the church, words like vision, or we may tell one another to visualize or believe in something, okay? So I want to first use a couple of scriptures that have helped me, because there's a lot that has happened in my life because I started operating with principles and laws and understanding the real meaning of words and how the words that we use are in the Bible, are in the scriptures. So I'm going to share with you 3 scriptures that have really helped me in my walk when using the word imagination. And I want to definitely answer that question. Should we be using the word imagination? My answer is yes. All right. The word imagination is in the Bible. It comes from the word imagine too. All right. It's found in Genesis, the 6th chapter and the 5th verse. Here's one scripture that helped me. I'm going to go to the Old Testament, then I'm going to do the New Testament. Then I'm going to close off with a particular chapter in verse 2. All right. Genesis, the 6th chapter and the 5th verse. It said, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." All right. So we got to understand that even in the Old Testament, the imagination of men were evil. God is recognizing something that he gave man. So you got to understand, first of all, your imagination, though, which is your thought process, came from God. Okay. So before somebody tried to deem the word imagination wrong, before they was even born, God gave us this tool. He gave us the ability to imagine things in our mind. Imagination came from where? It came from God. So before we deem anything evil or disregard it and say we're not going to use it, you got to understand the imagination came from God. And there's the reason why he gave man an imagination. And let me let you know how powerful your imagination is. Your imagination is so powerful that it can make the God of the universe to decide to send a flood to destroy the earth. That's how powerful your imagination is. God did what he had to do because of their thoughts, their imagination. Your imagination has the ability to create things in the natural realm. This is something that some people may not understand. They may not agree with this, but you got to understand the importance of why your imagination is so powerful and why we always tell people to pray. And I'm going to get in details how this ties into prayer, okay? Another book of the Bible I want to go to is in the New Testament. I'll go to New Testament. Ephesians, the 3rd chapter and the 20th verse. It says, "Now unto him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." So even in the book of Ephesians, it's letting us know that God can do above everything that we can imagine in our minds. So when I tell my mentors or mentees and people to, hey, imagine yourself becoming something or see yourself doing something before you're doing it, there's something that is happening in the spiritual realm when you start believing in that idea, and then things around you start manifesting and lining up with what you've already believed in. Now let's look at this last one, Mark the 11th chapter and 24th verse. And this is Jesus speaking. It says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." All right. So when we're praying about things, we're not supposed to decide that I'm going to get it after I pray, but it's before. Before you pray, before you come to God, you have to already in your mind imagine yourself doing, say, having whatever it is you're asking God for in order to get it. It's faith, 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 faith. It's impossible to please God. It's impossible for God to move in your life. So there's something in advance you have to do. That idea that you have to imagine yourself being an overcomer. You have to imagine yourself being in that job position or having that financial breakthrough. Whatever it is, you have to use your imagination. Now, I want to go real deep in dealing with this word imagination and how this ties into prayer. In the book of Joshua 1:8, this has been a scripture that has really blessed my life, that has really attracted so many things in my life when I understood the word imagination, how important this ties into prayer. All right. Joshua 1:8. All right. It says, keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. And let me break this down and how this ties into using your imagination, okay? It says, keep this book of the law always on your lips. So prayer, you have to understand, there's two parts. It's your lips, meaning words that you speak. So when you pray, I don't want you to do what 99.9% of our black cultures and other people do when they pray. They do all the talking. Stop talking and listen more. All right. It's two parts. You want to do less talking and more listening. All right. Because the first part of this thing says to keep the book of the law always on your lips. And then comma, it says meditate on it day and night. So that means there's a part where you have to listen. Listen to God speak to you. Meditate. You're going to be thinking, imagining, listening. Everything is going to be going on in the spirit realm, and you need to not say anything. The worst thing you can do when you get in a king's presence is do all the talking. The best thing you can do when you get in a king's presence is close your mouth and listen. Because if you listen, he's going to tell you some things, okay? Then this is how you're able to operate in the kingdom. Is that when you pray, you want to pray and communicate with the Father, but you want to make sure you do less talking and more listening if you want your life to be successful, okay? This is the key to understanding imagination. This is the key of understanding prayer. These particular scripture, these four books of the Bible and scriptures that I've given you are so important. I guarantee you, if you understand all four of these in using the word imagination in the right perspective, in the kingdom perspective, I guarantee you everything you desire to have in life, it will come to pass. Y'all already know my motto. It's your boy Jay White. This is our clarity moment dealing with imagination. Y'all already know. Jesus.